So in today's video, what I'd like to do is do a quick walkthrough of how you can use Civio to dive deeper into learning about the candidates that are coming up in this year's elections. I'd like to use the example of what's going on in Texas. If you've been watching the news, you now know that Ken Paxton has secured the nomination for the Republican Party. He will be running for Senate against James Talarico. So I thought this would be a great opportunity to use a popular race to be able to use this tool. So I'm going to go ahead and type in Ken Paxton. And what Civio does is once I hit search, it'll actually bring up all of the party members who were running in that election. But who I want to focus on is James Talarico and Ken Paxton, because as we know, they have both secured the nominations. So let's go in and dive deeper into each of their profiles. Let's start with Ken. And with Civio, as always, I like to start with their AI profile, and that's just going to pull all the information from the news and some highlights from legislative record so that we can look into it a little bit deeper. And as you can see, the news is here. It says Ken Paxton wins GOP runoff for U.S. Senate, ousting longtime Senator John Cornyn. So the news media information is already pulled into Civio, which is awesome. It gives you that timely information if you want to read up on that. And it gives you a quick snapshot of his achievements and some red flags for his failures. So whenever I see the red flags or any kind of unfulfilled things, this is the caution, and this is the things I recommend you kind of go deeper into the candidate's profile. So here's what I'd like to show you on that. So if we look at some of the controversies, let's go ahead and see what that could be. Because we did get that red, unfulfilled things in there that, popped up for his legislative record. So let's see what some of that could be. And Civio will pull up any type of information on that. As you can see, there's something here listed from impeachment by the Texas House, a whistleblower settlement, and some other information. Securities fraud indictment comes up as well. So let's go even deeper. Let's look into his ethics records. I'll click that. And let's see what information pops up about his ethics. So ethics will give us information that this candidate has substantiated ethics violations on record. Okay. You have that impeachment there. The whistleblower allegation is there. There's something here about state bar professional misconduct lawsuit that's under investigation. So another area I want to look at is donors. Let's see who some of his donors are. I know this comes up a lot when it comes to candidates that are running for public office. So you can see a breakdown here of how much he's raised, individual contributions, and some other areas here. So that gives me information. So say that I went through, let's look at his voting record. I wanted to learn about exactly what his voting record is. I can look here. And they have some information here where he abstained from 2 items on his voting record. Doesn't really look extensive to me. So again, I do not live in the state of Texas, but I'm just doing this as an example. So say I wanted to, before I give him my civic signal, let's see if we can map out some red flags on our checklist. And this is something that, if you're really a citizen there, I'm just going to type in a few things to give you guys an example. But some of the things that I saw on the list that I think would be a red flag for me, if I were in the great state of Texas, I would write, let's say impeachment. I saw that come up. And I'll add it as a red flag. How about whistleblower controversy? Let's say that's a red flag for me. and any kind of ethics violations. I'm going to say ethics violations. Okay, so those are things that you can use that once you look up their profile, say you wanted to highlight that as a red flag, and you're like, I don't know if that's someone who I want representing me according to what I just read, but we're going to keep it moving. So I saved that information. And now let's look at James Talarico. We'll do the same steps. Go to his AI profile, see what comes up. And you can see his news segment is here. It says Talarico wins Democratic primary for U.S. Senate in Texas. And we'll look at his achievements there. Looks like he got some things going on. There is a few things in red. Veto of HB 455. And there's something else, defeat of cannabis legalization efforts, okay? Which is a priority to some people. So let's go up. And again, I saw the red. So now I want to look at any type of controversies that could be linked to this candidate. And we'll see what pops up for him so that I can make sure I'm thoroughly doing my research. And it has a few things where he was criticized for some remarks and some things on CBS that happened with the Late Show. And I kind of remember that going through the news cycle. So let's look at his ethics as well and see if anything pops up on his ethics. Oh, he has a clean ethics record. There's no ethical violations. So that's good news. I don't mind that. Now let's look at his voting record and his history. And we'll see what CBO pops up for him on that. Okay, so he's been able to be active. There's some things on healthcare, the economy, education. It says abstain. And usually when I see this, I'm always curious of the reason why politicians abstain from certain votes. This would be something good. If I lived in Texas, I'd want to know his political positions on those and whether there was a conflict of interest or what does it mean, to abstain. So, and lastly, I'll look at his donors. Let's see his donor map and how he's doing on that end. He's raised a total of 40 million. Amazing. So pretty popular guy. So I didn't see any red flags. I guess I would put, let's see, potential abstain from, voting, but I don't know what that could be. That could be a variety of reasons why he abstained, but I'll list it there for now for this example. So I'll go ahead and save that. And let's go to both of my candidates. Now I want to do a comparison. I'm going to compare. Let's see. I'm going to compare him, and I like to compare both of these candidates. And we'd see that out of these two, the concern would be higher for Ken Paxton, according to that, and lower for James Talarico. So this is something that I would use as I'm watching these candidates throughout the year to really track their progress and who I'd vote for. But if it was to be decided today based off of this tutorial, I would go with the green, right? Who I have probably lower concern for. But again, this is not a real voting thing. This is just to give you guys the opportunity to learn how to use the tool. And I do hope this was helpful for everyone. And yeah, I'm looking forward to learning a lot more about the candidates all over the country that are running. And until the next video, see you then. Bye.